Okay, and we're live. Cool. Let's do some Game Boy game development. Yeah, I never know how to start these. Usually, I mean, I don't get a ton of viewers on Twitch, but if I do, usually they're not there right at the jump, so I'm kind of talking to nobody. So these intros are mostly for the YouTube videos, but uh, yeah, I don't know. It's sort of weird just talking to no one and trying to explain yourself and what you're doing, especially if I want to keep it fresh and interesting every single day, um, which is, I guess, mostly for my benefit rather than anyone else's. So, recap: making a Game Boy game. Game Boy game, kind of like Breakout or Arkanoid. Let's turn sound off because it's loud. We got a title screen. We got a game. Um, so what are we doing today? Okay, so what we're doing today is at least two things. One thing is that at some point I seem to introduce some kind of regression which causes things to go really, really bad when you game over. It crashes, it starts executing garbage. I'm not totally sure what's going on. So that's one thing that we gotta fix. Thing two, actually, I guess there's three things. Thing two is that I did some debugging of the sound engine code. I didn't write the sound engine. It's an open source sound engine that I am using. I did some debugging of it. I fixed an issue I had where um, it starts doing some weird stuff if you aren't playing music from the jump. So I fixed that bug. And I submitted a pull request, but I'm gonna pull that change in myself into the local repo. And then the third thing is that there's still some weird stuff going on with the collision detection against the bricks. And you probably wonder, is there a way to make this run at like half speed or something so that I can show this to you easily? System. Misc. I don't know. It doesn't really look like it. It's unfortunate. Because like I saw things like that looked fine, that looked fine, but there, I think that should have broken the brick and it didn't. So there's something weird going on, for sure. And I'm going to look into that. I'm also going to try to make the collision detection is by design a little bit imprecise. You might have seen it there too. It was going really quickly, but it uses the center of the ball to determine whether a collision has happened. Oh, that was super weird. So I think maybe we can resolve some of these issues if we tighten the collision detection up and use the entire box around the ball. I think it would be a good call and probably something that we should do. So those three things are what I'm going to try to resolve today. Let's start with the sound system stuff because that's probably the fastest. So I didn't actually end up posting the video on YouTube because for the first half of it I was talking to myself. I left my microphone muted. And there wasn't any real progress made, unfortunately. Just yesterday, I just did this debugging of the sound engine. It's not like there's any real change, improvement to the game. It was all sort of intellectual. So I will explain what I found. Basically, just let me grab this code. Do I have? I don't. Okay. File, open, recent, bust free. So basically, the change that I made is here. Set all channel banks to be the bank with the stop instrument. So the sound engine has a this idea of instruments, which sort of dictate ways that we change various parameters about the currently playing sound uh, over time. So the idea is that you've got an instrument set up which sort of describes the things like the decay of the note and stuff like that, and then you just say play the note, and it uses the instrument to determine like how to adjust the volume as the note plays and stuff like that. So there is a concept of yeah, I guess basically the long story short is that it initially just points to a dummy instrument that makes no note, and it just updates that frequently, regardless of whether or not there's a note playing. And as part of that, it uses these bank variables to indicate where in ROM the instrument is located, and the bank variables are never initialized, and so that was causing some issues. So that's the only change that I made. And that's all this does here. It just points it to the bank where the instrument data is. Super easy. So let's get that change in. And then the idea now is that we don't need to play loud music on the title screen straight away. So that's just an explanation of what I'm doing here. I gotta fix the white space. I mean, I don't have to fix the white space. I choose to fix the white space. What happened here? There's a mix of spaces and tabs, which is my own fault, sort of. That should do it. Oh, and not quite yet. Gotta fix that, and then also there's 4 spaces there for some reason. Cool. Okay. Now that's okay. So having done that, the next question is this crash on game over thing. I don't know what's going on there, so let's find out. I'm probably just forgetting to, I suspect, no, that is what I'm doing the right thing there. I suspect that this has something to do with the banking code. So I'm gonna just set a breakpoint on start game over, hit reset, and see what happens once I get a game over. I just need to get a game over very quickly. So if I end up needing to test this a lot, I will just debug and cut down my number of lives or something like that. So there we go. So we start game over. Call load font. Bustin makes me feel good too. Hey Tom, how's it going? Have you, I assume you have, but in case you haven't, have you seen the, what's his name, Neil Sisagera or something? His Bustin thing? It's completely erased the actual Ghostbusters theme in my mind. So that is, oh, yeah, that's totally what we're doing wrong. Easy fix. Oh my god, dude, am I getting to introduce you to Bustin? So yeah, so the problem was that I've got this trampoline which switches banks to go into the draw game over code. Yeah, okay, awesome. But I had put this trampoline which switches banks already in the other bank. So because of that, this is just jumping into total garbage. and terrible things are happening. So let's rebuild, and hopefully we can get a game over now without. Well, it's not that there's a double trampoline. It's more like I put the trampoline in the complete wrong place. So I'm just jumping and hitting the ground. Let's delete that breakpoint. And let's hit run. And now we just gotta simulate this. And let's get a game over. And we got a game over, and it didn't crash. So, does the title screen work too? Yes, title screen still works. Everything still works. Awesome. So let's save that change as well. Delete that to do. Don't get committed. Fix game over crash. Cool. So then, what is the next thing that I want to do? The next thing that I want to do is do real collision detection with the ball. And I'm hoping that this is going to get rid of some of the weirdness. So when I say real collision detection, what I mean is it's going to be in collide, using the boundaries of the ball rather than the center of the ball. I'm a little surprised that it's causing as many like janky effects as I'm seeing, so it's possible there's something else going on. But, oof. Maybe I don't want to do this right now. Like, I'm going to have to do it eventually, I guess, but I need to be in a real mood. And stuff like this isn't going to work anymore. Because we need to... This is based on the idea that we're using the center of the ball. And we're not. We're using... Yeah. So that sucks. So maybe I won't do this right now. Maybe I'll do something fun. What can I do that's fun? I've been wanting to do this for ages. I want to introduce some kind of enemies. Things that like move around and that you can collide with and destroy. I think that's what I'm going to do today. That's fun. That's way more fun than working on collision detection, which I just hate working on. So, in the grand scheme of things, we're going to start by... Exactly. Oh, that's such a good idea. It'll be a ghost. Oh my gosh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, like, as usual, a good way to start with things like this is we start by assuming that we have one enemy, or maybe, and then we can like sort of go from there to be like, well, what if we have 0 enemies, or what if we have 8 enemies? But just like getting it working for one is a really good way to start. So we're gonna have, I'm just gonna put it in here in game for now, and then probably factor it out later. And then your Y. I'm just wondering do I want to try to do subpixel movement for the enemy? I guess that's consistent. It's just probably not necessary. Let's start with doing regular pixels and then move on to subpixels if we feel like it. Yes, Nelly? You should come in here. You can become a famous internet cat. Yeah. Oh, Nelly. Woo. Look, now you're famous. Oh my gosh. See if I can get the camera accurately tilted so that you're on camera. There we go. Oh, Nelly. you ever stay still? My friend just adopted a pair of cats, and she's been sending me pics, and they are super, super cute. And I'm very jealous because they're like very content to just kind of sit on her desk, but like next to her keyboard, just like super well behaved, and keep her company. Whereas Nellie is like, I'm not here to keep you company. I'm here to steal your attention. So, okay, all right. I'm here to sit on your arm and prevent you from typing effectively. Yeah, it's very possible. They're just on their best behavior because they're new. So, game. Let's see here. I'm going to need to add something like enemy I'm just going to stick it sort of like, not, this isn't quite the middle of the screen, but it's, you know, kind of close to the middle of the screen, I guess. This is just like a test value. It's really not any significance whatsoever, but we're just going to initialize it. We're going to have like update enemy here. That's going to this is all just like super bog standard. I don't even want to call it physics. Oops. Oh God. Just like updating the position of the enemy in accordance with its position and velocity and stuff. If I were using a high-level programming language, I should put called an enemy in there. A high-level programming language or something like that. I would just have some sort of abstract concept of like an entity, which is like some physical object in the game world. I did submit the sound PR. Hi. I'm well. I'm right now trying to introduce moving obstacles or enemies into the game. So right now I'm just doing one, and then I'm going to sort of go from there and turn that into 0 or several, as the case may be. And I guess what's the other thing I need to do? I guess if I go look over at update ball, that's probably a good basis for comparison, because what does it do? It Look at this. Now, where do I call setup ball OAM? That's what I'm wondering about, because that's what I need to do. I need to actually draw the sprites for the okay, I just call it here, right at the end of this. So call setup enemy OAM. I'm gonna grab this as like a good example. Of course, right now everything's kind of messy because I'm just throwing it all into the game code instead of putting it in a separate module. But that's just temporary. So, and yeah, I'm gonna start with just making the enemy 8x8, but I think what I want to do is make it 16 by 16. So yeah, if a lot of this code would just be shared between, like, if I were writing this in C++ or Java or whatever, there'd be an abstract concept of an entity, which is just like a thing that has a position in the world, and maybe some other things like a associated graphic or whatever, but a position in the world, a velocity, all those sorts of things. But because I'm not using a high-level programming language, that sort of abstraction is really difficult. So instead, I'm just going to have like hand-coded routines. There's going to be like a little bit of duplication, which is unfortunate. But so what are we doing here? We are writing into the shadow OAM. Well, we don't want to put it in there. We need to put it OAM. First tile the first OAM slot that I can put it in is 1, 2, 3, slot number 4. So there's 4 bytes per slot. So shadow OAM plus 4 times 4 to get the address where we're going to start writing in the enemy's graphic. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to sprites and just something kind of, just draw something really, really simple in here. Whoops. Oh, Nelly, have you decided you want to leave? I haven't been petting you enough? I just want to reposition yourself. Or are you changing your mind because I started petting you when you decided to leave? Lots of questions. You want up on the desk. There we go. Let's get the cat into the frame. So what am I going to do? I kind of like the idea of making it look like some kind of ghost. Thank you. Yeah, she's the best. Big fan of the Melster. She's been really good to have around over this past year. For the most part, I do wish that she would let me sleep more often. Oh wait, no, I want twos here. Well, it looks like something, I guess. And then just like a really similar kind of thing. We're going to do loop 3. enemy tile data. And then I'm going to start copying it into VRAM, probably up here, I suppose. So that is 8020, I guess. Oh, I see. I copied the ball over there. Gotcha, 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 gotcha. Because I use it for both the background and for the sprite layer. Okay. Nevertheless, 8020. And then I need to define enemy tile. Just going to define over here for now. I can move things later. Enemy tile EQU. That is going to be tile number 2. So it builds. Hi, Nelly. Yeah? Yeah? What's going on? What's going on? Something about my copy loop is messed up. Yep. I was looping back to the first loop, so I was just copying infinitely. So there's my enemy. Right now, not really much to say about that enemy. I'm not even really sure what it's supposed to be. I guess I'll figure that out later. But there it is. So we got an enemy. Okay. Nelly, people on the internet were complimenting you. Say thank you. So what do we do from here? What do we want this enemy to do? Well, probably if the ball collides with it, I think we want the ball to bounce off. So I guess and for the enemy to be destroyed. I guess that's sort of the key thing here. It's not really an enemy. It doesn't kill you. The way it's more of like a moving obstacle. So and eventually, we'll do something with the movement. So, but oh my gosh, Nelly. And actually, I'm surprised. I feel like it's kind of large enough at 8 by 8. So maybe I won't bother making it 16 by 16. What is the matter? Use your words, Nelly. I asked her to use her words and she stopped talking. It's typical. Where do I invoke check stage collide? Not in here. Oh, probably in ball. So I probably want to add it over here. I'm going to do a similar sort of separation between the X and the Y. This should be relatively simple. Check enemy collide X. I don't need to do any of these things for now. It's going to look more like the walls collisions, like the check left collide. So all I'm going to do is very much the same thing as I was doing there. I'm going to get the ball's X position, and then I'm going to there's going to be some slight variations, like I'm going to use the center of the ball again. And then I'm going to compare that. I'm going to just put that in B temporarily, and then I'm going to get the enemy's X position. And I think I'm going to do a full I'm going to use the center of the ball, but I'm going to do a full bounding box for the enemy's position. So the first thing we do is we compare the enemy position to B, to the ball's position, or the center of the ball. And if the center of the ball is less than the X position of the enemy, then we know we don't have a collision. So I like always need to like write this out. So we're computing enemy X minus ball X, and as an example, let's say that the enemy is at position 100 and the ball is at position 80. Well then, so if the result is positive, if we don't set the carry flag, we can return. We know we don't have a collision. Then what we're going to do is we're going to add enemy width over here, and then we're going to do the comparison again. And this time, if the ball is to the right of the enemy width, or to the limit we're going to return. So in this example, it's going to be like 108 minus 120. So in this case, we want to return if it's positive. Or sorry, no, in this case, we want to return if it's negative. So if the carry flag is set. Because if it is negative, that means that the ball's position is to the right of the right side of the enemy. And so we're going to go into negatives. So we do that. What I should actually do is, okay. I'm going to do this. Then I have to do something very similar for the top and the bottom. I'll explain what I'm doing down here in a second. So then we have to basically do the exact same thing for the top and the bottom. I wonder if that's the issue. Oh, you know, this is probably this is a problem. I need to fix this, and if I fix this, I bet I'll stop seeing some of the weird behavior that I'm seeing. But I'll do that separately. Yeah. Because this is still from a world where the ball takes up the complete 8x8 tile. Because now the ball only takes up the very middle. This is using the wrong position. I'll explain this a little bit in more detail when I actually fix it. And I probably use something similar over in game.asm, I suspect. Yeah, right over there. Same issue. So I'm going to have to fix those. Anyways. Nellie! Come here, Nellie! Stop crying. Anyways, after all that, let's get the ball default Y position. Forgot to indicate the source register. This is all going to basically be the exact same. We're just doing like this sort of standard bounding box collision detection. Do I want to do this? I don't need to do this again, actually. What's going on there? I confused myself. I think that's what I want. I don't know what exactly happened there. Check left bound. So check right bound. And, yeah, that's a ret C. Check top bound. Bottom bound. What I'm going to do, just to make this as easy to understand, I'm going to have this enemy collision flag. So this is not going to be, yeah, there we go. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to clear that flag out and say no collision initially. And then if there is collision, I set it. So in order to do the enemy collide X, call check enemy collide, loading enemy collision flag, and I return if it's 0, if the flag's not set. And then otherwise I reflect, I don't do this. I have to do what I did sort of over here. Speed up ball, bounce X. Ooh, am I? What is the difference between bounce and speed up? Oh, I see. Gotcha. Okay, so yeah, I'm just going to call reflect ball X. So also, I will want to, yeah, just like this. I'm also to do destroy enemy here. And so then when I do it on the y-axis, super similar. The only difference is we're going to change the direction that we reflect. I'm going to have some issues because enemy height and width haven't been defined. Fair. I'm just putting them here temporarily. Once the enemy code is like a little more solid, I'm going to refactor it and put it in a better place. And I'm going to export those. And we should see something that kind of works. I suspect we're actually going to encounter some weirdness if the ball collides into the enemy and then we end up sort of detecting the collision twice because it's still inside the enemy. Because what do? We go to, do I actually ever call, I need to actually call the collision routine, huh? Update enemy, or no, it's an update ball. I do call the collision routine. ball check enemy collides Y. There we go. So we're going to have some weirdness. It's going to update the ball X. It's going to detect the collision with the enemy and then bounce, but we're still going to be inside the enemy. And then we're going to encounter, we're going to check the collision again, and we're going to hit the collision again. So we're going to sort of double bounce. And that's because we're not destroying the enemy yet. But this is enough to sort of vaguely see if this works. So I'm going to hit reload ROM and hit run, and we're going to see how this goes. So far, so good. The hard part might be colliding with the enemy. Maybe I should actually try. Oh yeah, there we go. That actually worked really well. I will say the bugs in the bug with the collision detection is really bothering me against the brick. So I'm gonna probably stop dealing with the enemy stuff right now, even though like it's not totally finished. We're gonna get to it, but I'm gonna go and fix those issues with the collision detection against the bricks that I noticed. Bonk. Perfect. So, yeah, that was over in here. Fix me. So, the point of this is to determine which 8x4 tile the ball is in. The problem is that the ball is actually 8x8, except that the part of the ball that we care about is 2x2. Or 4x4? 4x4. Sorry, 4x4. So because of that, is this wrong? Maybe this isn't wrong, and my bug is something else entirely. Nope. Actually, maybe this is right, and I am off base. Yeah, because we're adding 4, and it is the center. So actually, this is totally fine. I take it back. I don't need to fix this, which is unfortunate. I was hoping that was an easy win right there. Right, it's only a problem when we're doing this stuff, when we're trying to use the top and the bottom of the ball. But that's why we've got all these fancy routines here. So that's out. So whatever this bug is the result of something else. Because yeah, if we had, oh wait, no, this is the bug, because ball height is 2. Ball height is 4. So if we look at the tile, we're saying add ball height divided by 2, which is actually just 2. So we're checking to see if where the ball is based on like the top left corner. Right. So in fact, let me comment that out and add the correct number there, and go into game.asm and again comment this out and add the correct number. And let's see if that results in better behavior and less weirdness, because there's just, I'm seeing so much weirdness. And like, I don't know, it's probably gonna take a minute before I can definitively say there's no more weirdness, but like this feels better. This feels like there's less weirdness to me. There was some weirdness with the enemy, but with the bricks, this looks less weird. I'm seeing less horrible stuff, which makes me think that really was the bug. And that's such a huge relief, because doing the collision detection using the center of the ball instead of a bounding box around the ball in bricks is just like way easier, way faster. So yeah, okay. I do think that was the issue. So I'm just gonna say add 4 because it is like just the center of the tile. I don't know. I only have so much. A lot of comment. Center of ball's Y position is half a tile down. Whatever. And I think that'll fix it. I think that will make this better. Yeah. Give up on readability. Who cares about readability? What does it matter? In this case, readability was actually misleading me, so. Don't use a constant. Use a comment. So now, what do I want to do? Oh, I can, give you points for destroying the enemy. Well, I should do something to destroy the enemy. I'm not going to. How this is actually going to work when I get a little bit further along is we're going to have an array of enemies, and we're going to use that to dictate, possibly. Maybe not. This might work okay, because what I'm going to do is just position the enemy off screen and set its velocity to 0. Off screen is going to be like 200 is fine in both directions, I believe. And we might want to have some kind of like animation. But for now, we can like do this and we can say, oh look, we've added an enemy and it works. No, I missed. Come on, no, dang it. How can I test if I'm so bad at breakout? I'm just gonna try to launch right into it. Yeah, there we go, enemy destroyed. Hey, that's pretty good. Yeah, just a little boop. Do I want to give points for destroying the enemy today? I'm just wondering if it's time for me to end the stream or not. I gotta go buy cat food. So I think that about wraps it up. I feel like I made some good progress. At the very beginning of the stream, I fixed some critical and not so critical bugs. I've introduced an enemy. I fixed some collision detection issues. I'm feeling pretty good about today's stream. So, all right. Thank you for watching. the video will be up on YouTube probably in a couple of days. And I will be back tomorrow. Tomorrow we will, thank you. Tomorrow we will keep working on these enemies. We're going to need multiple enemies. And I'll probably make them bounce off the sides of the world instead of just looping around forever or something like that. And then maybe if we have time, I'll start working on adding the explosion for when you blow up the enemy. Yeah, enemy. Yeah. So yeah, things are coming along nicely with the enemies. Yeah, thanks very much. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.